So yeah, the segue from CBN in my last video to this rainy day in December in New York for White Pond. My house is behind that hill over there in the distance off to my left. And I used to come here a lot when I was a kid, and for my entire life pretty much. Sometimes right here, or a little further down. Used to swim here, walk on the ice when it was frozen, and go walk out in the dock here with my dad. And there were times when my father and I would have these long discussions about a number of different things. And one of them being having empathy to go towards my brother. And I started to think a lot about well, I think what most people think about when you get older: death, dying, and family, having children. And it's always been one of these kind of places where I'd often come with my father after my mom died, and we talk about the future and things, and dreams and whatnot. And my dad would turn and look to me and say, "Ollie, I'm so sorry, and I'm sorry I've been so sick, and I'm sorry that you got to take care of me." And then sometimes he'd be better and we'd be able to walk out here on the dock or even take a little vacation. But the past 5-6 years or so, I count the blessings. At least I had some really nice times with my dad. At least I was able to spend a lot of time with my father. And the world feels really lonely now without my dad. And a lot of that has to do with this battle to save the estate that it should never have occurred. It shouldn't have happened this way for the past 2 years. That's all I've been thinking about doing, focusing on, to the point where it's consuming me. I mean, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, to the point where there are certain people in this world, and my dad was one of them, that was like, it was like, just like being around something that was constantly breathing art. And he was such a good artist and an amazing painter. And I've come to appreciate how hard it is to paint something like this, for example. You know, yet my dad could paint anything. So could my mom. And what a special place to have this as your backyard. This is Sunday afternoon. There's nobody here. It's so nice. This is how it used to always be. In the summer, this place will be really crowded. They put no swimming up here. Doesn't stop many people, many of us, me included, from swimming. But those days are over. I'm not swimming in here anymore. That's it. I said that's it. No more. Got sick the last few times. But it's still such a special, beautiful place, and it's so sad not to be able to share it. It's like I've been like this prisoner, kind of trapped in this home filled with all these memories, precious memories, and not even so much as a peep or a pet or a visitor, lest it be some kind of violation, and then to constantly be, bombarded with these assaults on me of my liberty and my sanctity, faced with the memory and this daunting reality of like, wow, like there's so many things I still want to do in life. It can get better. I'll get past this, You just have to accept it. And I guess, for me, it's like when it gets like this, weather like this in New York, I just kind of want to be out of here. Just kind of done, and I'd like to have some fun, do some fishing, and live my life a little more. I feel like the only reason I was here was to continue caring for my father after my mom died. And now that he's gone, it's just this lingering thing with the house that's keeping me here. And it's so much worthwhile. It's more worthwhile to keep it in our family. My brother and I use it as an income property, as a passive income, and a theater for memories and our future artistic endeavors, instead of just abandoning it, and being as if we are not brothers and we don't exist. It was so painful for my parents. I guess that, some of us don't realize that you come from the same mother and father. You're the same flesh and blood from the same two people who made you. That's a very special thing, and that's what I'm missing in my life. And it's a sad thing. I'm not trying to go back in the past and think about everyone who's died and I've lost. It's been a pandemic, it's had a ripple effect on so many things, so many people who are already battling healthcare problems like cancer, suicide, depression, addiction. All these things have, and struggling for money, the stress of being in the justice system, wrangling with the justice system, the stress of having to go to court for over 20 years. My poor brother and my father, always going into the court, and this kind of like small town bullshit. I'm done with it, That only exists here. I've never had these kind of problems anywhere else in my life other than here, So yeah, I'd like to rent it out and move out and live on a boat, And if it comes down to it, that they take everything away, at least I can die with a smile on my face, saying, hey, I did the best I could, My dad's legacy will live on. One way or another, it'll live on, and it lives in me. And I hope that my brother can see me as his friend, not his enemy. There are more memories here for me. Even here, walking right down to this little spot as a teenager, my friends. There are more memories here than anywhere else in the world for me. And I left, I got out of this town, and I'm happy that I'm back here, because I like it. And now that my dad is gone, and the situation has made it so that I can't have some of my friends live with me, I can't have a family, a sanctity, a peace of mind, and privacy in my own home, has made it ever more lonely and difficult that my dad is not here, because I'd spend so much time with him every day, laughing, talking, joking, and keep him company. It was a joy for me to take care of him because I knew it was making him feel better, and he was so sick and ill that most people would have put him in a nursing home, and I couldn't do that. And there'd be these days where we would go for some walks, and then let's go for a ride to White Pond. And as he got more and more sick, I'd say, let's go for a ride to White Pond, and he just kind of wouldn't feel up to it. And there's a video. It's the last time you went here, and we walked out. And we both knew that this was the last time he was going to go to White Pond. And I asked him, I said, well, what's going to happen to Andreas? He told me, take care of your brother. You got to feel sorry for your brother. He told me, you guys have all this. Together, you're stronger. You have power. And he was right. Look how my father's family treated him. They abandoned him. And my father wanted that for my brother and I. He wanted us to be there for one another. Because there was a time when my mom was diagnosed with cancer that my parents suddenly saw their mortality and would talk about, who's going to be our family. And we tried to make an effort with some of my dad's relatives. And having lost my mother's side of the family in Germany, it became evident that it was just going to be Andreas and I. And this house should be kept in the family for our children. Our children should be able to play here. And so the art and the memories that my parents made and left, all the little intricate little books and tiny little boxes and little special things that were captured from each years of our life and our tumultuous past. But in order to move on, I need to have some closure. I need to figure out a way to save my home or hand the keys to my brother and say, here, okay, you take over the mortgage. Let's see what happens for a year, see if you can do it. Or we'll just have lost everything my mom and dad worked their whole life for. Very special little piece of property here, Goes right to my backyard. You can walk from my backyard right here.